Hi, I'm Carter Otis, and I'm your host on another special episode of America Crimes Unveiled. On tonight's special episode, we're going over William Cosby, better known as Bill Cosby, or America's uncle. Bill started his career in the 1960s as a prominent comedian and actor. Bill, however, in 2004 was convicted of sexual assault by over 60 women's testimonies. Our first analysis will be from Bailey Mowdy, a feminist literary analysis author. Bailey has spent several years researching the topic of women in power and the feminist style. So, before that, let's go into a little bit of background research about Bill Cosby, why he got so famous, why he thought his fame could protect him from his crimes, and the crimes he committed. Thank you.
The deal that Cosby thought he had with the former Montgomery County District Attorney Bruce Castor. In fact, that lay at the heart of today's Supreme Court ruling to vacate the conviction. Live at the county courthouse in Norristown tonight is Action News reporter Bob Brooks. Bob, tell us more about the deal that Bruce Castor made with Bill Cosby.
Well, Jim, it was a promise from Castor to Cosby that he wouldn't be prosecuted, but it was in order to get that deposition to help Andrea Constand. Tonight, former Montgomery County DA Bruce Castor explained why he decided not to prosecute Bill Cosby.
There was not enough evidence to arrest and convict him.
And why he made a promise to Cosby that would never happen.
The choices became do nothing or do something. I chose to do something.
Castor says it was in that promise Cosby would be forced to participate in a deposition where he would be stripped of his ability to plead the fifth and provide Andrea Constand's attorneys with ammo for a successful civil suit. It's noted in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's opinion that Cosby even confessed that in the past he had provided Quaaludes, not Benadryl, to other women whom he wanted to have sexual intercourse. Castor says it was a chess game that worked exactly how he wanted.
If the civil lawyers played the pieces right, they would get Cosby deposed. He would say things that were incriminating, and they would then use that to leverage a settlement worth millions of dollars. Well, that's exactly what happened.
But he also says it was made very clear to any future Montgomery County District Attorney the statements made by Cosby in his deposition could never be used as evidence in a criminal case.
The Supreme Court cited my memo, my private memo to them, saying, don't do this, because you're going to have a problem with using the deposition testimony, because that only existed because I had said I wasn't going to prosecute Cosby.
In response, current Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele, who prosecuted Cosby, released a statement today. Part of it reads, he was found guilty by a jury and now goes free on a procedural issue that is irrelevant to the facts of the crime. I want to commend Cosby's victim, Andrea Constand.
So, baby, before we get into Bill Cosby and his truly monstrous character, can you please explain for the audience what a feminist truly is?
The three main principles of feminism, according to Dr. Odd, is inclusion, cooperation, and access.
Okay, and with these contributing factors, do you believe that Bill Cosby was purposefully, misrepresenting these things and gaining his ability to take over women's lives? From my further research that I've conducted off camera, I've come to realize that Bill Cosby actually did, in fact, use power to kind of push women down and discourage them from speaking up about their testimonies. Do you feel like that is a case of feminism and where, women don't feel the power to speak up against their abusers?
Definitely there were power imbalances involved. He definitely had no regard for human rights as well as women's rights.
And with these contributing factors, do you believe that Bill Cosby is guilty?
I do.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. This is feminist analysis, Bailey, and we would like to thank her for her testimony. Our next up, we're going to be going on to Maddie and her first-hand studies. Thank you. I'd like to welcome our next guest, Maddie Bay, a Marxist criminal analysis. Maddie, how do you believe that the Marxist criminal analysis spectrum really fits into Bill Cosby's case?
He was a man of a lot of power and stature, and so these women who were sexually assaulted and abused were afraid to come forward to him in fear that no one would believe them. Because even with your normal average Joe person walking across the street with that sexually assault symbol, only 2.5% of them actually get convicted in jail.
So you're saying that Bill Cosby's status in pop culture allowed him to feel this sort of superiority and fear-monger these women into staying into silence.
Yes, he did. He kind of made them to be his groupies, and they just wanted to have some fame. They wanted to take his fame and put him down.
So what you're saying is that by using his twisted lens of the fact that the women actually were in it for Bill, you're saying that Bill was able to slip through the clutches of the law. Man, that is a truly horrifying, disgusting revelation. And I'd like to thank you for shedding some light on this. So do you truly believe that in today's day and age, even though the women did speak up, around 60 women testified over the introduction of the #MeToo movement, and I believe that was what gave women the power to rise up against Bill in his years of fear mongering. So do you really believe that without the use of these women joining together to form a united front, would they have come forward?
No, I do not believe that would have happened. I believe that the power that all these women combined made a strong web of feminine power that beat his superiority and his God complex down.
So you're saying from the Marxist perspective, especially a man who was so prominent in culture, such a famous man, that really did give him that godlike status where he felt he was truly untouchable.
Yes, and he was for many women.
Yeah. So through the bravery of these women standing together, we truly can realize that Bill Cosby wasn't a god. He was just another man who committed a terrible, terrible crime, a monster, and he was treated as such after he was persecuted. I'd like to thank you for your time, Maddie, and your insight onto the Marxist critical analysis theory is just absolutely brilliant. I love your work, and I would just like to say thank you for helping us with your research.
Thank you for letting me give my opinion.
Of course. So now we're here with McKenna, a legal expert, and she's going to be telling us a little bit of information about how Bill Cosby's due process was invalidated and how he was eventually persecuted. McKenna, take it away.
So Cosby was originally told that he would not be prosecuted for the crimes that he was committed. So he decided that he was going to testify against the civil suit against Jeremy Constant.
So you're saying that the woman that he had allegedly assaulted had gone up for testimony, and he had then testified against it, not knowing that he would be under persecution?
Yes.
Do you believe that Bill Cosby did actually commit these crimes?
I believe that there was a lack of evidence, and I believe his release was justifiable.
So you're saying that because of these factors of his due process and his testimony being taken out of account, and this general kind of seedy manipulation from the court system, that he was technically not guilty?
Technically, yes.
So, given these kind of factors and different opinions, do you believe that Bill Cosby deserves to be in prison still, or does he deserve to be continued release?
I believe that under the circumstances, that with him being told that he wasn't going to be prosecuted and everything, yes, he should have been prosecuted that day, but since that he was failed in that sense, he was released, like he should be released.
So, we've heard it here first from McKenna, a legal expert, who has just notified us that Bill Cosby's due process was invalidated. And this sort of behavior from the court system really does throw this argument into shambles if you really look at it. Due to the fact that without this due process being, represented, Bill Cosby's argument stands true and stands for him to not be persecuted and stands for him to be released. So now we're going to be moving on to some further evidence providing some support to this claim from McKenna. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and, let's roll the clip.
Just hours after the ruling came out, the judges pointing to a vast violation of Cosby's due process rights in the decision. So what happened? Well, more than a decade ago, a prosecutor decided not to charge the actor. Cosby then agreed to testify in a civil case, and during that admitted to giving quaaludes to a woman he was pursuing. That became key evidence in the subsequent criminal trial.
And there you have it, folks. A true